That will do. Like my ex-wife, pretty useless. Daniel Black. How? Maybe that's why your ex-wife and you broke up. 1 second, let me get my tea. I might get some porridge quick as well. It'll take like 2 minutes. Oh. Alright, almost ready. Sorry. Sorry. Oh. Let me just find my glasses. Oh. Got porridge. I will start the video in a second, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Oh. Got porridge. Got tea. I can't see shit at the moment. I've got to wear my glasses. Look, intellectual board is intellectual. Turn that down a bit. Just bring my microphone closer. I'm going to eat porridge while I answer some stuff in this stream. You're going to deal with it, okay? Because, you know, it's my stream. I can do what I want. Well, sort of, within terms of service and use license agreements and, you know, I can't do actually that much. I probably can't swear too much either. Otherwise, YouTube closes you down or something, I don't know. They come around to your house and take away your internet. So there's lots of, obviously everyone's worried about the new flu, the new cold. I won't name it because for some reason YouTube doesn't like people talking about it. But I'm pretty chill about it. I don't really go out much anyway. Although I do have to go to a hen do later this month, and then my mate's wedding and game conference at the end of the month. Oh dear. No meetings of 20 people allowed. That's the current idea. Do you think Chris Roberts would try directing a movie based on Star Citizen or Squadron 42? In the future, almost certainly. I mean, the Wing Commander film was pretty bad as well. I mean, so Lord of War was pretty good. So Chris Roberts' films haven't been like totally awful or anything. They've been sort of like relatively neutral. Wing Commander, obviously terrible. But you know, some people love it. It's a cult film. It's a bit silly. I like terrible films. Will Rogaine be an asset for 3.9? Rogaine? What? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry that I was mean to you, Daniel Black. Will divorce be gameplay mechanic in 3.9? No. It's coming later. No. How much info as Evocati are you allowed to give us? Do you hold back information due to an NDA? Yes, so I can... The only Evocati information I can get away with giving is when the Evocati phase is... if it's currently on. And how close I think it is to a conclusion of an Evocati phase. That's pretty much it. The NDA with that is basically to not discuss specific patch notes, not share screenshots or video content of the in-game stuff. But because I can't discuss the patch notes and I've got to effectively protect the patch notes, there's only a small amount I can talk about. However, I've looked into it with a solicitor in the UK, and it was their understanding that if someone else has released information, I am actually allowed to freely talk about it under my NDA still, because I can reference that information, I can reference a leak without breaking my NDA. But I still probably wouldn't push it, because, you know, Evocati then making videos on Evocati content, I could be the one that leaked it, sort of thing. Do you see what I mean? Or the person that leaked it could be the one that's talking about it. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. I'm good at not leaking stuff. So yes, I hold back information because I have to. It's mostly just Evocati information I hold back. There is some stuff I'm privy to that I get told by some of my mates that are devs and stuff. And I occasionally get an email from CIG, which I suspect goes out to a lot of content creators when they talk about certain stages they're at, or if they've got a plan for next week that they want to get. I mean, I talked about it. Yeah, so... Oh no, I've got myself up on my screen. Yeah, there's some emails and there's some sort of discussions in Discord and stuff that I'm privy to that gives me some more information about the project. Obviously, as well, when I go to studio tours, I hear stuff and I get devs drunk very often, and I chat to them I'm pretty good at digging data out of people. Mantis, thank you very much for gifting a load of subs. You've gifted 31 subs in total. Oh my god, that's a lot of subs. And it's gifted 5 to Wallan 2503, Shirek 21, Passio, I love you Passio, Everything Risen, and Blasteroid Prime. Congratulations on getting free subs. I'm not sure if it really gives you anything beyond me money and you a nice warm fuzzy feeling inside. Maybe some emotes and stuff. Thank you very much, Mantis. Very much appreciated. Love your face. Thank you very much for that that sub drop. Appreciated. What else have we got? If you would like to ask a question about Star Citizen or myself or whatever, it's in brackets question and then ask whatever you want. In a bit, so I'm only going to be on for a little bit today. But I'll be on Friday and probably the weekend as well. I want to come on more on the weekend. I'm going to my mate's house to play some Adaptus Titanicus. So I've been building. I've got one of these Reaver Titans. They're half built at the moment, and it's starting to be base coated now. So the Reaver Titan, it's got no face, but so like this is 40k model stuff. It's basically the new Epic Adaptus Titanicus. Well, it's more big stompy robots. But I've magnetized all of my robots. So got magnets in the center, magnets on each of the joints, and I can sort of like change the weapon loadouts. I love 40k. I haven't played it in ages, haven't collected it in ages, and I thought I'd get back into it for Adaptus Titanicus as an additional hobby. Also, it looks like they're going to be bringing back Warhammer Fantasy Battles in the next few years, and that was something I actually played at a competition level, and I was very interested in it. Thank you very much. Another month of being bored. I'm not. It's kind of a compliment. You are paying me to say that. It's sort of like a double whammy of disillusionment. I know it's very unprofessional to eat while I'm streaming, but otherwise you'd have to wait for me to eat. And I'm wearing glasses. That looks professional, right? So some of the stuff I wanted to talk about today, at least very briefly. I've got a video coming out in about 45 minutes talking about some of it as well. CIG have got a little statement they had on griefing and stream sniping. There was an amazing post on Reddit about the differences between an alpha and a beta game from a game developer that had been involved in the AAA industry, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. We've got 3.9 coming later this month, so at the end of the month. And we've got an Idris in that as well. But there's actually quite a lot of content in 3.9. Did a video yesterday looking at the content we know about for 3.9. There's actually probably a bit more than we are aware of. I promise you you're not my dad, Drix. He's downstairs at the moment, I think, wrapping parcels for me. I'm sending my PlayStation 4 off to Xeon and DC because I'm not going to use it. I haven't got time to use it. I sit down and try and play a console game, and I immediately check my emails. So they want to play
Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'll probably convince them to let me watch them play it. So. Typically, at the beginning of each month, I announce the giveaway winners. It's on the Reddit. It was also on a video. And you can find the links to that in all of my videos. So just down where it's sort of like got the giveaway details. You can click on that and it will tell you what last month's winner is, link to that, all that jazz, and this month's giveaway. And that's the thing. So CIG's sort of look at griefing and stream sniping is that it's something they want to handle in-game, with in-game systems and lore systems and stuff. They don't want to get involved when it comes to PvP and player interaction where possible. And it has to really cross a barrier for them to intervene or warrant a report. At least that's my take from what CIG said, which is good. I think that's a good take. Because a lot of the stuff is going to be about to be handled in-game. And obviously if you stream snipe someone, okay, well, if someone's on stream, they're putting themselves out there. And if someone's just taking advantage of that information, that's sort of fine. It's when someone exploits or constantly attacks that person again and again and again and again by, like, you know, not trying to beat them in a fight or anything, but by pad ramming them repeatedly, like, haha, lol, 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 trying to bully them off. I'm still in the opinions that players would solve any problems if safe zones were just removed. I totally agree with you, but really we need some more systems in place before that. We need security, we need the prison system, we need some deeper lore systems, we need that to be a little bit tested so it's not super exploited. Do you see what I mean? But yes, I do agree with you with that. Oh, shite, I love your face. Here's so many years of bored life. So when can we get our hands on sitcom tickets? I need to book my flight and hotel cheap because all the money's spent on your bald head, as always, and until the end of time. Thanks, bud. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I would expect us to be able to buy them actually probably June-ish time, with my expectation. It's going to be the biggest event yet, so there should be a lot more tickets than normal, I suspect, anyway. Yeah. I think a lot of people get confused between or attribute griefing to piracy or gameplay or people making a mistake or being idiots or messing around. So griefing really is consistent, persistent, and annoying and typically exploitative, and can be seen also probably as bullying. Whereas a lot of it's just gameplay or piracy. And people will be like, "Is this guy's a douche or whatever?" And if you go back to the same mining spot and the same dude kills you again, that's not griefing. Yeah, that's sort of my take on it. I mean, people can have differing opinions on this, and that's fine. I just want systems where possible in game to handle 99% of that. And then the 1%, which is sort of like people being genuinely abusive and dangerous and you know, putting people in fear of harm or whatever, breaking the law, IRL, that can be dealt with by doing a report. So I'm on quite a heavy diet. I've lost like, I was 208 pounds when we started, and I'm under 195 pounds now. So I want to lose another just under 20 pounds. But I've realised that I literally, my eyesight's going as well now. Well, it's not, okay. So I get really tired, and I've been, I occasionally get migraines, and it's because I hadn't been wearing my glasses for ages. Like, I only just got them last year. And I was like, yeah, I'll wear them when I need them. But they're really great for computer work, though, so there's slight magnification. I don't really have like problems focusing or whatever with my eyes unless it's over a long period of time, and then I'm just sort of like dead from reading. But this is great. I can paint models and stuff much better as well. Hey, BG, watch you all the time. Thanks for your hard work and always keeping us informed of all things Star Citizen. Keep up the good work, and I'm glad your dad's doing better. Thank you very much, DJ Cassie. Oh, Crassy. Oh, Crazy. Crazy. Okay, that's good. I'll say it like 20 times, and I'll get it right. At least choose the one that's most correct. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Effectively, covering Star Citizen, though, is my self-appointed job. So I'm incentivized to do it because I want YouTube to give me money and donations from people and Patreons and YouTube members. What else we got here? Give griefers bans at least suspensions. I mean, I'm absolutely fine with genuine griefers being permanently banned. However, I think I would have griefing have to be so obvious and blatant and effectively malicious that it warrants that. Not something that's borderline, not something that's sort of like he got a little bit overly heated or he was being a bit naughty. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, so there was this amazing post on Reddit about let me bring this up for you and link it. I think this was an absolutely fantastic post. Bring this up on screen. What alpha means and what beta means. So basically, this is a post by Matt Coville. I didn't when I covered this, he did not have a billion gildings and all this stuff. This is a load of gold and stuff. People love this. Oh wow, it's gone. Good. So basically, he's talking about he's been involved with development of games, not necessarily Star Citizen, but of games and AAA stuff. And he talks about the difference between an alpha and a beta and exactly what that means to him. And so alpha can be describing a state of a game, but also a period of time, and companies use this interchangeably and confusingly. So basically, alpha as a stage is trying to get all of the components at the minimum viable level ticked off a list. So you go, can ships fly? Yes. Can we buy things in shops? Yes. Is there a mission system? Yes. And then get all this really basic, rough stuff in that's sort of ticked off the list, that's not polished at all, that might only have one mission or one mission giver. And then, after you've got all that, then you go to beta, well, you get feature complete, basically, in alpha. And then you get to beta, and you try to build to content complete. So beta is a phase where you build on all that stuff that you've got ticked off the list into actual game content and gameplay loops, beyond the one or the basic one or whatever. And I love this. He just talked about it, and talking about there's potentially going to be an explosion of content once beta comes, but during the alpha phase, you're not going to have that because they're building out features in their first iterations. But yeah, really good read. I go over it in a video that will go live in about half an hour. But big ups to this dude, Matt Colville. Good, really good job. Like, beautiful post. If I saw loads of posts as well written as this and sort of like reasonable, I would do a series on it weekly or bi-weekly or whatever, or fortnightly. I'm looking at people's posts and stuff. Typically, I find that a lot of posts are quite polarizing in people's views, but this was I really got behind it. But yeah, check that out. I thought it was a fantastic statement from him. Do I have the briefing one? Yes, I do. So CIG talked about excessive griefing and stream sniping, as I said, and they basically said, keep it in game where possible, and they will intervene if it's absolutely necessary. So let me link that for you guys as well. So yeah, 3.9. I would actually expect 3.9 potentially to be Evocati this weekend, because of the amount of testing it's going to need. And the way that CIG are going to want to do stuff moving forward is get as much testing as possible because they want the game to be more playable. That just sort of makes sense. It could be next week, but I would expect it, honestly, for them to at least try and push for this weekend. So there's a hope there. We've got Todd Pappy actually talking about 3.9 in Star Citizen Live later this week on Friday. So that should actually be quite interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I know 93% upvoted on that dude as well. Yeah, it was a very reasonable statement from him. And he talks about sort of like some of the games going to, at the moment, in alpha, a load of the gameplay is trash because it's not proper gameplay yet. It's building on it. And a lot of people obviously go, oh, you use the defense, it's an alpha. Yeah, because it is an alpha. It's not a defense, it's a statement of fact. You can certainly say the alpha is not enjoyable at the moment. That's fine to say. You do not enjoy that. That's cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy the project. But I enjoy it not just for the gameplay. I enjoy it because it's building on that gameplay and sort of like a bit of a roller coaster ride for as a project. But that's just me. It's going to be different for everyone, isn't it? Oh my god. Big up to the glass wearing crew. I'm bald, I've got glasses on, but I've got a huge PP. A PayPal account. Yeah. If you had to choose C2, M2, or A2. I mean, I'd get most use. I get most use out of a C2. I like the idea of the M2 the most, but the A2 is far more valuable and the coolest. What kind of porridge? It was just porridge, which I put a little bit of salt in, and almond milk instead of actual milk or water, and a tiny bit of honey. It was just oats, other than that. How much health will porridge restore? So it doesn't restore any health in Star Citizen. It just has a... what's the name of the value system they've got? It's hydration value or whatever for water. A nom-nom value. Nutrition value. A nutrition value of, I don't know, 130, let's say. Assume nutrition's going to be equal to calories, IRL, maybe. You're looking stunning today. Thank you very much, Brad Smith, and that is why I love you. You've been a member for over 6 months on my YouTube. Oh my god, you're a monster. What will this new flu affect as far as development? So I was talking to someone the other day that works at CIG in Wilmslow, and they sort of like put out a statement apparently, just sort of saying, be sensible, be careful, wash your hands, don't lick people's faces, don't let them sneeze on you. It's sort of like quite calm, quite reasonable. I think like don't come in if you're obviously feeling sick, but don't panic and don't worry so much. So, and that's where I am as well with it. So, I wouldn't want to go to any sort of like huge events where I'd be seeing loads of people. Like I wouldn't want to go to the Olympics or something if it was this week, just because I'd be worried personally. Though I think it's very, very few people currently have it in the world, especially in the Western world. So I think it's a concern potentially for the future, but it's probably not a huge concern. It's certainly not something that's going to prevent me from living my life. Be the best you. Will it affect development? We don't know. At the moment, no. In the future, maybe. Could it affect CitizenCon? If maybe the US will ban large-scale meetings for a few months or something. It's possible to stem the tide. But at the moment, there is no tide here. So, do you think at one point, whenever me and my teammates are starving, I might be able to kill my friend and eat him in order to survive? I don't think they're going to have humans as food. I wonder if there's going to be an actual cooking system. We've got kitchens and kitchenettes. I suppose there probably is a cooking system or a way of getting food from one state to another, crafting for food, cooking. Please don't be able to eat people. That'll be weird. Be like, there's a surprisingly large percentage of cannibals in space. It's weird. Do you think the new Origin ship will be the X1? It's possible. So there's been a teaser in the latest Chairman's Club newsletter that sort of like said the Imperial cartographic explorers peoples were talking with Origin about something in the works. That could be something that's a new concept ship, that could be something that's straight to flyable, that could be something that's already been announced that they're putting in game, potentially for 3.9. When do we get to play Theatres of War? So they wanted it to be in people's hands by halfway through this year at the latest, sort of thing. I'm not sure what sort of like state that will be in. They obviously wanted it to be as polished as possible. I would expect Evocati to start to test that between 3.9, so between beginning of April and sort of like beginning of June. Oh, thank you very much, Dysfunction. Thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Very much appreciated. So if people are unaware, there is a member join button, which is effectively like Patreon, but for YouTube directly on my channel, and it's a way that I make money. So feel free to join, and you do get exclusive content and stuff, and I'm doing more and more of that. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, mate. What else have we got? How much do you lift, bro? I don't know how much I actually lift. I do deadlifts, because you're not supposed to just do cardio when you're on quite an intensive like weight loss, because apparently you lose a lot of muscle mass, and obviously, look at these guns, mate. They are deadly. I can't even, the camera can't even pull up with them. Oh, someone else has clicked a button. Austin or Sydney, thank you very much for joining on the YouTube. I got a guilt join from him. Appreciated. I'm not sure how much I deadlift though. Was it curl? No, it's deadlifts. It's deadlifts. What controller do you use for Star Citizen? So I've got a Vulcan 100 keyboard and a Logitech G502 mouse. That is the typical stuff that I use, because it is the easiest stuff to use when you're recording, doing camera shots and that sort of stuff. I prefer to use a Virpil Constellation Delta stick and a throttle from them, because that is they are amazing pieces of hardware, and it's pretty cool and immersive. However, it's not necessarily the best for content creation and stuff that I want. Do you think a player-based economy on the level of EVE Online would work in Star Citizen? No, but there are obviously going to be people doing mods and private servers eventually for Star Citizen in years to come, so we can test that sort of stuff out. A player-affected economy is fine for Star Citizen, but they can be heavily simulated and have those NPCs and CIG still in control of the economy, but obviously players affect it heavily, and that's fine. I don't think it would work in the same way that EVE's is. I love EVE's economy, or at least I used to love EVE's economy, so. I'm still new to Star Citizen, I'm doing my research. Are large, expensive $500 plus game packages worth it? No, they're not. They're not worth it. They are a way you can get cool ships if you have huge disposable income, and you are helping to helping development. Now where? I like the Battle of Centauri music. That's cool. But yeah, you're helping development. You're getting some ships. You can get everything in game, so it's certainly not worth it. I don't actually think that people buying these giant ships are going to benefit them in the way that some people that would have bought them think it's going to. I think it's cool, yeah, but buy hardware over digital purchases. Get the joystick and monitor and rig of your dreams, in my opinion. But I do not think they're worth it. But it's all dependent on how money is for you relatively. So Do you prefer metal minis or plastic minis? I like resin. I like plastic and I like metal. They're all good for different ways. I'm of the era that remembers and used to use and still has a load of Games Workshop lead models before they made white metal. And then plastics are fine. Resin's fine. I mean, you can get some great resin stuff. Games Workshop models are quite expensive though. And the weird thing with there's like Chinese recasts that they do, or Asian recasts. You can buy them on like random sites or whatever. That's an interesting one because they're like lower quality, but they're significantly cheaper. But Games Workshop, I think, are doing pretty well. I think Adapters Titanicus is doing pretty well as a game system. If they re-release Warhammer, I might even start showing some of that on my second channel. Might even show Adapters Titanicus on my second channel eventually. At least talking about it. I want to go to tournaments and things of it. I like that sort of geekery. What are your thoughts on flight simulator tech if used properly compared to how Star Citizen is now and the game is now in this state? It can be played like a crossover. I don't know what you mean by flight simulator tech. You're talking about people just having a flight rig, so they just get into a cockpit with a joystick and throttle and VR headset, or are you talking about them redoing the flight model to be more simulatory? What do we got? The Arnold Sports Festival was cancelled due to virus, and I hear talks regarding the Olympics. Any thoughts? We've talked about that already. In law, how was it explained when you commit a crime near a planetary system and no police are around? If no police are around and it's not detected, you haven't committed a crime. That's basically it. They've talked about potentially it might be recorded on people's back boxes in their computer on their ships, and they'd have to get it to somewhere that can be detected. E-Fest was cancelled, really? Will Star System after Pyro be Magnus? Possibly. Magnus is quite an easy system for them to do, but they might work their way towards the Odin system, so the next one might be connected to Pyro, and it might be Nyx, because they've obviously already got Delamar. Oh, you've lost 36 kilograms since August. Wow, that's a lot. Hopefully in a healthy way. How should cheaters be treated using third-party exploits, not in-game exploits? Permanent ban. Cheating, permanent ban. I have no time for cheaters. But it has to be 100% they are using cheats. It has to be obvious 100% they are using cheats. No sort of like, well, it's probably cheating. Have you tried using a blue light filter while gaming? No. Is it something you recommend? Is that for better eye tiredness, less eye tired? With more stuff we can do now, do you think we'll see a freelancer rework? We'll certainly see updates to all the ships. And tweaks to their stats and numbers. Prisons, PvP bounty hunting, Pyro, proper piracy this year. We could have significantly better piracy this year. Obviously the Quanta system, Pyro system, expanded law systems. There's a lot coming together. If they get physicalized components in as well, you're about to disable ships, and if you get the ability to be able to move cargo across, I mean, that would be great as well. So yeah, I mean, we'll certainly have better piracy this year. Do you get any Star Citizen groupies? Not as many as I'd like. Not as many. Not the ones I want. What moons are you most excited for? Calliope, Clio, or Utopia? I, 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 they're all cool moons. Kind of cool because they're micro tech. Get it? I don't really mind. I mean, I'm going to explore them all. I haven't really explored them yet. But a quick look at them inside Star Citizen. So I don't really know. I'm looking forward to seeing a frozen ocean on a moon scale. I'm looking forward to seeing another type of ocean, another wet ocean that's not on Hurston. CIG will need to intervene if an org like Goonswarm rears their ugly head. So hopefully there'll be in-game systems to prevent mass griefing or undesirable behaviour, law systems and stuff to disincentivize it. But you would have to break terms of service or start breaking the law IRL for me to say that it's okay for... Well, let's move this slightly over here so you can't see behind the wizard's curtain, to warrant reports and actually banning people for griefing. But it should be very clear cut what griefing is. And if you grief, you're banned. Mate, I love the idea of Free Space 3. What I would like to see, actually, is let's see if Star Citizen is moddable in the future, like they said it's going to be, and potentially get a Free Space 3 mod on the go, which I would happily partly fund. With food buffs coming, what can I expect to gain from consuming a hearty leek and potato soup meal? Probably a few hundred hydration and nutrition points, and you might get a buff of some sort. It will be like warming or something like that to prevent you from getting as cold or something like that. Very briefly. But there's various buffs and debuffs. You can get poisoning. You can get ones that give you more stamina for a longer period of time. You can get ones that give you light health regen, things like that. Is there any plan for a guild system? So there's obviously organizations and there's in-game NPC guilds, which allow you to be like bounty hunters that share information between each other, allows you to actually do like bounty hunting gameplay in a bit more detail, things like that. So there are going to be things like that. Will they be able to eat aliens? I believe they will be able to do some form of big game hunting, and obviously there's going to be meat in game, so... Wow. Not reading some of this. Why can't I buy this 600i right now? Because it's not currently on sale. CIG artificially sort of restrict purchases of ships to create hype and to create false market value. But, you know, it works for their financial model. With more stuff we can do now, do you think we'll see a freelance... we've talked about that already. Fluctuations on Merchantman progress and general design. So they are certainly doing bits for the Merchantman and design guides more generally for the Banu and that size of ship and their architecture and stuff. I'm not sure what form of development progress we're going to see on the Merchantman this year. I would expect to see some by the end of the year, though. So... Can you use premium to join a channel now? I don't know. I haven't had a message about it. So typically YouTube would email content creators and go, "This is a way you can get more money from your viewers," sort of thing. Any news on CIG/RSI branded HOTAS from way back in the day? No, we haven't had any further information on that yet. I would hope to see one eventually, but I don't know when. Probably if they were going to do it, we'd either do it well after Squadron 42 or with Squadron 42's release. I mean, where's the Faceware camera? That's been a long time in the waiting. And Faceware is still apparently doing it because I emailed them a little while ago. So, will food cause weight gain in the game if you overeat all the time? No, so your body shape won't change, at least in the short to medium term. I'm not even sure in the long term if they plan to have changing body sizes. However, we don't know if there's going to be a debuff for overeating. Maybe there will be. Slightly less stamina for being too full. Right, should we have UE bank accounts that accrue interest? Probably not. You want things that remove inflation, not increase it. I would increase it. Is there something that hasn't been listed on the roadmap that you would like to see? Don't consider how long it would take or how much work it would be to add. Full-on crafting system. The ability to craft, I'm including space stations and spaceships in that. But being able to craft everything is something I'd like. I think you have to set up your own shops and stuff. I mean, that's madness and huge scale. But you asked, what would be your opinion if someone took a hull C filled with waste and then self-destruct over ArcCorp so it would fall into the city? I think that's a cool thing. I mean, I think you'd get several thousand years of merits that you'd have to pay off in prison as well. Is dogfighting still shit? Yes. It's not awful, but it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Is the cloud tech being used for Hurston the same cloud tech that will create clouds of flaps? No. Gas cloud giant tech is different from gas cloud tech that they're using in the Odin system, which is different from cloud tech and layered fog, which they're all different things. I mean, they might have some connections, but they're all pretty different. Are we getting server-side auto container streaming improvements in 3.9? We should be. That should be better dialed in. I'm hoping that it fixes the desync issues. You know where they hid the coffee machine in the Carrack? I haven't actually checked. I just thought it was in the same place. But I suspect that the coffee machine will be a separate purchasable thing in-game. When will more NPCs be added? So they are building that tech up at the moment. They need a mixture of proper AI, NPC scheduler, and better network code. So with the NPC scheduler, that is... let's bring up the roadmap, because I cannot remember. I think it's for 4.0, the NPC scheduler. Roadmap? No? Road. So, for 4.0, I think we've got NPC scheduler. So this is the way they're going to spawn and despawn NPCs, which is needed to be able to have more NPCs around. Hello. Yeah, so the economy is obviously incredibly important. Every part of Star Citizen is pretty much reliant on another part. So people just like say, what should we have and when should we have it and stuff. Like, at the moment, they're literally just ticking it all off a list on Alpha, and they need to get through all of it. And it's going to be a while before we have a feature complete Alpha, before they can then move on to Beta to get a content complete game. ABG, I keep getting pad rammed. Will there be... what will be done to penalise these players? Prison system, fine system, a deeper law system. And obviously that those stations may start to semi-permanently restrict those players from being near them and start shooting them down more aggressively. Better security forces, all that sort of stuff. Because they will eventually be removing the armistice zones. But there will be lots of systems in place to stop bold players coming in and going, oh, I'm going to be a dick. Like that. What do you mean by getting ships without buying them? So, buy them and go. Will you die from not eating or drinking? Unclear at the moment. You'll certainly get debuffs. Oh, Michael, make a pain sound because you've given me far too much money. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michael. I do appreciate it. You are a star and a legend among people. Hey, board, Banner Merchantman, where we see it this year. We should see some updated development on the Banner Merchant this year. It is unlikely that the Banner Merchantman will be finished this year. I would expect it to maybe be starting to move into a deeper grey box phase, or somewhere in its grey box phase by the end of the year. That's my expectation of it. It's a big ship. It's got shops on it. It's not desperately needed for the game in the short term. And as I said, they're going through a list of alpha features, sort of prioritising them wherever the hell they feel like it at the moment. It does seem a bit odd the way they prioritise stuff for alpha, but it does need to all be ticked off a list. But thank you so much, Michael. You star. I think I declared you a big patron of the stream the other day. It's very much appreciated. You are a legend amongst people. Are you star? You mad star. I don't know why people give me so much sort of money and Patreon and bits and things. Like, I genuinely appreciate. But literally, all I do is sit down, read about Star Citizen, play some Star Citizen, and then talk about some Star Citizen, and do it in a hopefully an informative, easygoing way. I mean, I'm not as no bullshitteru as Noobify. Obviously, he compresses stuff a lot down. I like to talk a lot. I like to convey information and talk about it. My original actual idea for the channel was to do stuff and basically like Noobify did. I did it with Diablo 3. There's like very quick BAM guides, and I think I will, with guides, I think I will try and convey as much information as I can in the shortest video I can for a guide, so you can just repeat it quickly and easily. Bam, this is it. This is a 3-minute video rather than a half-an-hour video, because I think you will be able to pee and poo in toilets. It's going to be part of hygiene, which will be tracked on the player status system in the future. I recently got new glasses, and I need them for seeing far objects, but I have the option to have a blue light filter on my lenses pretty cheap. I work from home, and staring at a computer screen for 14 plus hours a day really helped my eye strain. The filter doesn't seem to change any colours like the blue filter on a computer screen does. Oh, okay. I mean, my glasses are pretty cheap. Maybe I'll chuck that $100 into getting some new glasses and trying that out. Anything like my chair is incredibly, it's like an $800 chair, and it's all second-hand pieces. It's an Aeron Herman Miller, beautiful Mark III or whatever, the latest version of the chair. I bought a headrest from Atlas. It's really nice, this chair. But I'd have terrible back problems if I didn't have it. What else have we got here? What's your perfect Sunday? Every day of the week is pretty much the same to me. Playing board games with my mates and being able to drink cider and chill. And the next day, not necessarily have to come, not have to worry about the next day. Will Cloud Tech help create a more realistic dynamic atmosphere like Earth has? I mean, yeah, along with other improvements that the CIG are making. You'll start to see better looking environments, better weather effects, better cloud effects, that sort of stuff. Any idea when we get more varied and stylish civilian clothing? We'll see more and more as the game gets developed. You'll see a load more civilian clothing when we have new Babbage in 3.9. How much of the AI is going to help you, like recruiting them and you giving them orders? You're going to have the ability to hire crew. You're going to have the ability to convey orders. To what extent and how, don't 100% know yet. Thoughts about manual control ramps over instead of a touch up and down one? Simpler is better in the short term. I mean, there's a whole conversation you can have with the remote access to your ship as well. Will Pyro be added in 4.1? No confirmations of when Pyro is going to be added beyond. The plan is to have it in this year, so 4.1 or 4.2. I would expect I would hope for it to be in 4.1. Hi, Bob. There seems to be some speculation on what Origin's up to. So, yeah, Origin are potentially releasing a straight-to-flyable ship or vehicle for 3.9 or something to concept soon. That's what it looks like. They talked about it a little bit in the Chairman's Club newsletter. There's the cartography, Imperial Cartographic Agency, whatever they're called, ICC. They're involved as well in it, so it could be something to do with exploration or survey or mapping. Could be the Origin rover. Could be something we already have heard about in game as well. Star Citizen 890J. Do you think I will ever get to use my 2 whiteboards that I stuck on my wall in anticipation of Star Citizen trading? Yes, but I also think that a lot of that information will be easily available in game because they want to have economic display terminals. So they want you to do as much as possible in Star Citizen without needing to go to external sites to get the data that you want. You see what I mean? And the trade's going to be relatively dynamic. So using a whiteboard and the in-game systems is actually probably a good idea. Michael, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I love you too, buddy. I've got a lot of love for my community or anyone that watches my stuff. As I said, I don't understand why, but I do appreciate it. Do you think players will ever be able to take the equivalency? What? Equivalency what? Have I missed something? With 3.9, is there any more gameplay or still just shooting and cargo? There's lots of new gameplay. There's the prison system. There's an Idris mission. There's some other interesting missions like a prison attack a prison transport mission. There's what else have we got? We've also got new Babbage. Got missions tied to microtech is going to be there. Some cool new biome type stuff. Some AI collision avoidance and the way that AI might be able to come down from space to planet and planet to space, which will be interesting and cool as well. More stuff with the bounties, sort of like getting improved bounty missions. We've got the player status system, which obviously buffs and debuffs and new things that are being tracked, like weather and heat and hunger and all that sort of stuff. Prowler. There's a load of other stuff that's off the roadmap as well that's being added to 3.9. Very excited for 3.9. It's got some features that were cut down. Obviously, most disappointed with the fact that it's not got the economy stuff in it, dynamic mission system and the economy stuff, which I desperately wanted in 3.9. But as long as they get it in this year, and as long as it's not terrible, I will be happy. How do you expect shops to work on the Banner Merchantman? Pretty much the same way they work now in-game. A terminal where you can go up to and buy stuff that's from the store's inventory or inventory on the shelves. Or both. What is your opinion on having secret and hidden stations and bases in between already existing nav points that you can only find if you were to cancel quantum travel in the middle of nowhere? I'm cool with that at the moment, but I want the ability to be able to explore and quantum travel into other places and to mark locations to be able to re-travel to them later and sell that data, share that data, that sort of stuff. I think that sort of stuff is important to finding new points of interest and new surveyable areas, new asteroid fields, things like that. All super important. I do appreciate all the love. Thank you so much. I just like to talk about it. I think I talk about it and I don't try to shy away from people's questions typically. So if you feel like I don't answer your questions, or you've got a question that I haven't got around with, why is dogfighting bad? Question mark. So it's just not finished yet. It needs a load of core systems to come together, and then to be balanced and made good. I mean, it sort of works at the moment. The netcode's poor. There's desync. The weapons aren't balanced properly. Ships aren't work as intended. There's artificial health pools. There's no physicalized damage system or physical components and all this sort of stuff. That's all needed. Windows 10 has a nightlight system that's good for your eyes. That's true, but it does affect the colors on the screen. I'm going to get... I like the idea of the blue light glasses. I've not really used my glasses much before. Do you think they will release engineering and repair mechanics for ships? Looking forward to that multi-crew experience. Yo! So, I think you'll, as with all features in Star Citizen, you sort of get them dripped, fed to you slowly. So it'll be physicalized components, and there'll be subcomponents, and the ability to remove components out of a slot and put a new one in. So the sort of you'll start to be able to move and put new components in, and then you'll be able to fiddle around with the subcomponents, and then you'll be able to use your welder and repair tool, and then there might be like bypassing systems and things to make things work longer, and then fixing like power relays in larger ships that get blown out, sort of like that sort of stuff. How much more of the standard system needs completing before they're making others? When they're starting to make the priority system already. The stuff they need to complete on the standard system in general, for that system to be complete, because it's not going to be fully complete, because they're going to keep on working on points of interest and other tech and stuff in general, which is all part of the procedural systems. They need to do the New Babbage, and then expansions to New Babbage and potentially other cities. Crusader, obviously we have in game at the moment as a placeholder, but actually that as a gas giant. Orison, the landing zone there. Jump points, the Aaron Halo. And then we pretty much got the standard system done. The 600 isn't on sale at the moment. How far off land ownership do you think we are? They wanted it at the end of 2018. Land ownership gameplay, land claim gameplay to a certain extent, and the law system tied to that. But I'm thinking they're going to be waiting potentially for server meshing now and full persistence before they put that in. Do you want a space station grocery store? Or something similar, yeah. Why not? Is Star Citizen ever going to do VR? They said they want to. They've got Vulkan integration coming this year, and then they can actually look at VR support a bit more deeply, a bit more in earnest. But I would expect to see VR support for Squadron 42 first. What else have we got? Shite. I was on an elevator yesterday and I had a sneeze that caused a bit of a fart. Everyone on the elevator laughed. This stream makes me feel better. Thanks. At least it wasn't a shart. Good job. Oh, Swampy UK. Thank you very much for becoming a board producer, you madman. Appreciated. A lot of random money to chuck at me. Oh, you star. Thank you so much. I know a lot of people have started using that join system, and I think it's great for creators. It's great for me, anyway. Very much appreciated. Does the Carrack have a refinery for quantum fuel? Not as far as we're aware at the moment. There needs to be some way, in my opinion, for the Carrack to be able to stay out exploring potentially indefinitely. So it needs to be able to either gather its own quantum fuel or refine it or something like that. I suppose it could just have a huge amount of super efficient quantum fuel, but we need to see what CIG do with their Quantanium or whatever they're going to end up calling it, and the mining of that. But I'm also concerned about the Carrack. I assume that was a question that was based on concern. Do you think it would be beneficial to have a bot answer the common repeat questions for you? I'll put it in a video and stuff. Will you be upgrading to the NVIDIA 3080 this year? Potentially. I'll have a look at its price. Things like that. I want to have the newest hardware because, you know, that's the way I want to live my life. Those are the things I want. A really updated PC. And that's the reason I did YouTube and gaming content in the first place, is because I want to work at what I love, and I like computer games. I want the best rig. I love hardware. Do you want a space station? We talked about that already. Do you think planets need more points of interest? Yes. And stuff, and dynamic things that are happening, and lots more going on. 100%, yes. And they will have. Do you own a Polaris, and when do you think it might go into production? I don't know if I own a Polaris. I don't think I do, actually. Again, that's probably one we'll start to see more about it towards the end of this year. Probably get that before the Banning Merchantman as well, in my opinion. Do you roughly know when 4.2 will be added to the roadmap? I'd hope we'd see it within a couple of weeks of 3.9 going live. To explain Regarding equivalency, the law states that in order to become a citizen versus a civilian, a test, the equivalency is taken. This opens up new possibilities of political offices. Where are the robots? We don't have robots in game, or at least intelligent AI robots or anything like that. They sort of like shy away in Star Citizen. They go, anytime they've tried to develop AI or these sort of like proper robots, that they just don't work in law. So, what's the most ridiculous request you've seen from the community? To do a screech for money. Probably. What's an example of the community being overzealous in their wants? I would say more Star Citizen community-esque. I don't really know. You mean you get obviously people on Reddit or on Spectrum that are very much showing their views of what they want. I think any request that's come out of selfishness or specifically, I want this content and all your other ideas is stupid sort of thing, that's any opinion that's not reasoned, or people that are telling you what you should do and should know as a community member, then they're probably monsters. Just be the best shite you can be. Don't worry about finding in the elevator shite. It's all good. Will areas and cities be physically connected? The tram system should connect below them. The others, it will be connected physically by walking and stuff. It's going to be different for different areas. How far from AI crews and higher player caps do you think we are? Higher player caps, probably not too far away now, and they can probably start testing out when they've got server-side container streaming a little bit more dialed in. Higher play limits again, they've already tested out 60, which seemed to work really well. But I would expect to, well, I would hope to see 75 plus players in a server this year, and next year server meshing, static server meshing, so lots more. Right. Oh god. When they bring all solar systems out, do you think they will have new areas that are unclaimed? Yes, 100%. There's huge amounts of area, huge amount of land, mad amount of land. What's your take on the Prowler? I think it looks like a beautiful ship. I really like the idea of a stealthier, focused dropship. Obviously, it focuses more on EVA dropship, but it's pretty cool. Do you think Star Citizen will be stuck in this update to problems to fixing only what can cycle until the game dies out? No, I think they're going to be doing the alpha of the game, which is going to be them ticking a load of things off a list in the very lowest MVP state, and then they're going to be in beta working on content completion, not just feature completion. Do you know why Squadron 42 has had little mention for so many months now? They talk about it quite often in obviously the monthly report letters, which we'll see one this week. We've obviously had some of the Squadron 42 stuff shown at the end of last year, sort of like some little tidbits there. I think it's because they're working out how to market and announce some stuff for Squadron 42 later this year, and probably we'll learn about the release dates and stuff like that. That's my expectation. There's still updates and stuff on Squadron 42. It's just like they keep it under the hat. They always have. With the 3.9 update, will we be able to store armor and food in our ships? We don't know. There's no talk for 3.9 having the physicalized sort of like inventories and being able to put stuff in ships physically in like the lockers and stuff, although that has been shown in a lot of videos. So, has there been any more talk of Orgs 2.0 updates? So not specifically as Orgs 2.0, but they are working on the group system for 3.9 and 4.0 and more updates to that, literally from patch to patch to patch. So you eventually will have more Org features, but they're coming slow and drip fed to you. What else have we got? Oh, I am going to dash off in a second, but I will answer as many of these questions before. Do you think there will be an interaction with water and diving, hidden caves, underwater? So they want to have some form of underwater and water content. Not sure to what extent. We are going to be able to swim. There is going to be buoyancy. There's the dynamic wave simulation and stuff like that they've put in game, or wave simulation. And can remove the word dynamic from that. Will we be able to store weapons, ammunition, and equipment in storage containers on the ships? Yes, in the future. Should the character be able to function as a submarine? Probably. Again, water mechanics are planned, but I'm not sure to what extent and how it's going to work. Do you think they'll update stealth systems? Yes. So they're going to update scanning systems and detection and passive detection, and obviously stealth is part of that. It's just managing your systems and the environment and all that sort of jazz, and your choice of systems. Are we going to get on the teased hot dog train? No, that was obviously just for them to test and mess around with. Do you think we'll have pet companions? Maybe as, like, attachments to armor, not proper pets running around with us. But maybe we will. They'd say pets is one of the stretch goals. I'd expect they'll be more aesthetic, though. What's your top 3 unimplemented game features? Server meshing. Which I conclude as network code updates as well, I suppose. But server meshing. Non-derpy AI, so polished, finished AI, and the dynamic economy and mission system. I mean, there's loads of others as well. I mean, obviously we need full persistence, and huge amount of other stuff, huge amounts of gameplay loops. What do you think about having no-fly zones on certain planets to force the use of ground vehicles? I think that would be fine to enforce in the law system, but not to physically forcibly enforce it as well, my ship just won't allow me to fly here. They are doing the that rework of the restricted areas for 3.9, so we'll see where they're going with that. What do you think about having I talked about them, but the other ways they can prevent you from using vehicles on planets is by having environmental hazards and stuff like that, and defense towers and things like that, so you have to approach on the ground, or at least it's more sensible to. Do you agree that the current content done by CIG is too heavy on the end of the week, giving up a large period of the time between content? What? I don't know what you mean. End of the week? What? I think there's lulls in the content they provide, but they are just working off an alpha list that they're ticking bits off as they go. Which of Microtech's moons are you looking forward to the most? Calliope, Clio, or Utop? I don't really have a preference. I'm sort of like, I haven't been on them yet, is what I'm sort of trying to say. I will be able to answer that later. When do you think engineering will be included in the game? I think we might actually start to see it in 4.0 in a bit more. We'll see it this year. And it will be moving components out. It will be basic repair. It will be sub-components and things like that. And then they'll sort of like add more and more and more onto that. But we need physicalized components, really. Maybe not 4.0, but almost certainly this year. Will I ever have friends in Star Citizen? Aww, Janks. Aww. No. No, maybe? See, people will be your friend in chat. How nice is that? No one told you to go F yourself or anything like that. I think that's sweet. That's a sign of a good community. Will the character be usable underwater? As I said, we don't know exactly how water gameplay is going to work, but there's buoyancy and stuff that CIG wants, and there's going to be water gameplay, so potentially. Delete your shader folder in the user folder. That's the best way of doing that. You don't need to delete the whole user folder, because then you lose all your saves, your saved keys. Right. So, to recap, 3.9 coming at the end of this month. Loads of cool new stuff for that, including an Idris mission. Boom. Prisons. Cool. Player status system. Food and drink. Potentially cool. Hopefully not too survivally. We've got end of the Crytek lawsuit. Hopefully we'll be able to get some details of that, because they've settled later this month. March 24th, I think, is when it will be dismissed if they haven't drawn up the settlement properly. CIG have got a good stance on griefing and stream sniping, where they go, we want it handled in game where possible, and it has to be a lot to be considered as griefing, which is cool. Really cool post on Reddit about alpha and beta, what those things actually mean to someone that works in video games and AAA games that isn't part of CIG. So I really like that. So alpha, getting it to finished alpha is getting it feature complete. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's got much content, but it's got those features ticked off a big list of Can ships fly? Tick, sort of thing. But then beta, you get it to content complete. So you get like loads of missions, more than just one mission to show that it's got a mission system. Get all those missions in. You get all the different ships in. You get all the customizable ships in. All that sort of stuff. Do you think we'll get an exploration anvil rover? I think we'll see an origin rover now that I've seen the that teaser from Origin. I think it probably will see an origin rover. I think probably in the future we'll see an anvil rover or something that's an anvil ground vehicle that will have the same sort of uses as that. Forklift to load and unload ship cargo. They want time to be a factor in loading and unloading cargo, and potentially you can pay extra fees to get it loaded and loaded up quicker. Potentially that will have some physicalized work to it as well that you could do yourself. If so, probably forklifts. Are you seeing my girlfriend? What? I don't think so. Why do you have a dozen accounts? Because I have lots of different ships and lots of different accounts, lots of different things. And so at the moment, I typically use 3 or 4 accounts. I think it's 4 actually at the moment. And I fly to, or I have them each of the major landing zones. It's not as necessary as it used to be because I can just spawn at planets and reset my account and stuff. But that's the reason I had a few to start with. But in the future, I'll be doing lots of filming from lots of different locations, and I want to be able to just go, now I need to do something here, now I need to do something here, now I need to do something here. Much more easy and simple as a content creator to do that. What is your system specs on Reddit still current? I've got 64 gigs of RAM, I've got a 8700K i7, and I've got a 2080 Ti, and loads of hard drives. It's getting updated soon. I'm getting a Ryzen 3950X, and lots of other tasty goodies, and lots of hard drives. I've got 24 terabytes of hard drives in my hand. I probably shouldn't shake it, but I did. Right, I am going. But I'll get 2 more minutes. I'll just go through the last couple of questions. Are they going to rework the armistice zones at some training posts for 3.9? So they're doing a rework of restricted areas for 3.9. I don't think that's going to include armistice zones, but I might be wrong. They are going to eventually rework and remove armistice zones so that they are entirely covered, I believe, by security forces and by the law system. I think we'll see a smaller version of the Urza that's safe from environments, but smaller. Maybe I do think we'll see an Origin rover. I do think we'll see an exploration type vehicle for the ground. Right. I'm going to dash off. I'm going to find someone to that we can raid, though. Thank you so much for joining me today. Very much appreciated and asking questions. That's what I live for. I will update this Let's Buy an Idris from Ramage into the Sun. I forgot that was my donation. 3.9 is going to be exciting with that Idris. Like, even if it's not in there properly in the game, like even if it's just it's an NPC Idris, even if it hasn't got a proper interior, even if they try and lock bits out, we'll still, as a community, I suspect, really try and get on that ship, really try and use it. So I'm quite excited for that. Who shall we? Oh. Is someone restreaming me? Oh, wow. So, this is what I just looked at. Someone is restreaming me. And now it's gone to infinity. There's just infinite board gamers now. Gonna get more and more and more. Look at this. It might be in the guy's in the guy's break. To be honest, he might have had a quick break. Follow him. Had a quick break, and then he might have been having a quick break and then just showing my stuff off. That's fine. I won't get too grumpy. Shit, son. Here we go. There was proper boardception, wasn't it? Well, I can't host myself. Well, I'll go host Matachi because I love his face and I haven't talked to him in ages. But I need to dash. So I'm going to /raid Matachi. And I will link him as well. Bam. Give him some love if you fancy carrying on watching someone stream. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for participating. Michael Ike, thank you so much for giving me all of your money. Very much appreciated. I will throw it into my face and sort of like rob it down myself in some sort of very wholesome. I can't even say some of these words that I was thinking. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Love your face. You take care. I'll talk to you again real soon. Peace.